There's a pattern that wrecks women's lives, and it hides in plain sight. You're smart, you work hard, you've done the work on yourself, but somehow you keep ending up in the same heartbreak, the same exhaustion, the same stuck place. And this is bigger than bad luck. It's something related to trauma, and it's running you on autopilot. And once you see that you're doing it, you can stop doing it. Now, for so many women who grew up with abuse or neglect, this is what life becomes. You give everything, you trust too fast, you try to be cool, you tolerate what hurts you, and then you blame yourself for the fallout. And when the relationship collapses or the job drains you or you melt down again, that voice comes in, like, what is wrong with me? But what if it's not just you? What if this whole thing, this loop you keep falling into, is a trauma-driven survival pattern, one that's very common in women who were neglected or abused as kids? This does not have to be how your life always is, but it does make you vulnerable. And now is the time to just see it for what it is and start to break it. Now, it's so funny. It can be so hard when you have this response to stress and your job is what I do. Making YouTube videos, that people either tell you that they love you or they don't love you. And you get dopamine every time you drop a video. And so there's this temptation to make infinite videos that make everyone happy. It's not a very realistic way to live your life. It's not even possible anyway, but it can really keep you on a treadmill. And I think YouTubers are notorious for having a lot of depression and life problems over this. It can really, take your spirits up and down, just the numbers of views and subscribers and things. So here's the truth. Trauma leaves a fingerprint on your nervous system that does that to you. And, fingerprint, that's not really a strong enough word. It's an injury, and it can leave you prone to nervous system dysregulation, which can affect every part of your personality, your body, your life. Everyone gets dysregulated sometimes, but those of us with trauma get it more often with stronger effects, and it can be harder to get out of. And in fact, if you've been dysregulated a lot, like most of your waking hours for years, it can feel just like how life is. But when you're dysregulated, everything gets distorted. Your thoughts, your body systems, your choices, your emotions, and your sense of who's safe and what's right. So you end up with self-defeating behaviors that can take you down. You fall in love too fast. You trust too far. You go with the flow when you should be walking away. Now, don't beat yourself up over it. They're trauma symptoms. They're normal for people who grew up in abnormal circumstances. And when you recognize these in yourself, you can change them, or you can start anyway. So let's go through 10 hidden patterns that are wrecking women's lives. Just quietly, just num, like termites in your soul. All right, 1, falling for unavailable people. That longing, that ache, that's not love. That's the wound of early abandonment, and it's getting triggered again and again. And this is a big sign. If it's happened, once, twice, 3 times, big sign that trauma is affecting the way that you have relationships. You want to check if that's true for you? I have a free download that lists the signs that abuse and especially neglect in your childhood is affecting who you fall for and how you get attached and what happens when relationships end. I'll put a link to that quiz in the top row of the description section of this video so you can find that and get it today. Number 2, calling chaos love. So you stay in high drama relationships because they feel intense. But that intensity, it's not connection, it's cortisol. And you've become drawn to it, if not addicted to it, as a way out of pain. 3, trauma-driven decisions. And I'm talking about big life moves made in a state of anxiety or emotional overwhelm. It feels like clarity, but it's panic. Number 4, spiritual bypassing. You tolerate harm and you call it acceptance. You avoid conflict and call it peace. You're just going with the flow. There are tons of people who are happy to gaslight you that your boundaries are unevolved. But you, my friends, get to set your own standards and you get to decide who comes into your life. Number 5, covert avoidance. You look like you're functioning. There are people in your life, but you're holding them at arm's length because underneath you're vanishing, canceling joy, hiding your truth, staying busy so no one gets close. Number 6, overfunctioning in chaos, collapsing in peace. You thrive in a crisis, but calm makes you spiral. This can happen because in your childhood, the constant stress activated you to take control of your life, but it wasn't meant to be your way of life. Number 7 is mistaking dysregulation for intuition. Yeah, strong emotions feel like truth, but intensity is not clarity. It's your nervous system in overdrive. Number 8, performing the cool girl mode. You act like you're okay with casual sex, even if you find out after you thought it was a real relationship that it's just casual. You go along with it, like you don't need anything. You're erasing yourself to avoid rejection. But in the end, the cool girl is the one who always gets rejected. People can only love the real you when you are the real you. Number 9, letting people redefine your reality. They say, oh, you're just being dramatic. You're overthinking. When people say this kind of thing to you all the time, you do start to believe it. And that's manipulation. It's not insight. Number 10, wondering if you're the problem. So you leave what's hurting you, but still question if you made it all up. And that's what trauma does. It makes you confused about what's your part in a problem and what is not. Don't let that make you go back to the high drama relationship you finally got out of. Because even if it was you, you need to be out of the drama to heal. For a lot of people who grew up with trauma, the idea of normal can be confusing. What feels safe might actually be chaotic. What feels familiar might be hurtful. And what's healthy can feel uncomfortable or even wrong at first. So one pattern I see a lot is that people blame themselves, not because they're guilty, but because they're unsure. And if you spent years walking on eggshells or being told your feelings were wrong, it can scramble your ability to, trust your gut. It might even feel safer to think that you're the problem because that means you can control it. You can fix it. But that mindset keeps you trapped. Another thing I've noticed is that some women become masters of pretending they're okay. They minimize, they rationalize, they smile through pain because it's what they had to do growing up, and now it's automatic. Now, these aren't character flaws, they're survival responses that lead to self-defeating behaviors that I guess you could call character flaws. It'll lead to that. And these survival techniques made perfect sense when you were going through the trauma, but now they're not helping you anymore. If you want to see a list of self-defeating behaviors that are common for those of us who grew up with neglect or abuse, I've got a free download that you can have. I'll put it in the second row of the description section right below this video. I think you're going to want to check that out. Now, once you can see what's happening, not just the pain, but the pattern, that's when real change becomes possible. It starts by telling the truth about the people in your life, about your choices, about where you're stuck and what it's costing you. Then you take action. Maybe that means ending something that's dragging you down. Maybe it means reaching out instead of disappearing. Maybe it means finally doing the thing that you've been avoiding for years. You don't need to figure everything out in advance. You need to see what's happening clearly and take one concrete step to address it. It's going to surprise you how easily just one step makes your next step appear on the horizon. And that's how healing happens, one step after another. Honest awareness followed by action. If you like this video, I've got one that you're going to love right here, and I'll see you very soon. It's not supposed to feel like that, and if it feels like that now, it's not a good sign.